Hey, Boomer.
Man, is Victory Monday getting a little old for you guys or what?
It's never old, and it's. I'll tell you what. It might be early, but I can't help compare this team to the 2001 New England Patriots. Right? Am I right about that?
You know, it's amazing. I saw your guys' interview with Mike Vrabel last week, and you guys were talking about strength of schedule with him. It looked like he was going to strangle all of you.
Yeah, well, you want to kill Curtis,
right? Exactly. This is kind of predictable. We've been talking about it for weeks and weeks and weeks. Their schedule was very favorable to them, and it's still going to be moving forward. But yesterday was a big win for them because, they played a very competitive Tampa team, a very competitive Baker Mayfield. And even when, say, Drake Maye's a little bit off or he's a little bit under pressure, they were able to win. And what you're seeing is that you have, obviously, a couple rookies that are like burners. They're shot out of cannons. And when they get involved and they make plays like this, that is a great sign for a football team because now all of a sudden you are getting this impact that you would not have expected from guys at this level, this quickly, and against that good of a team.
Tony Romo talked about it during the game, but it looks like Josh McDaniels is so good at seeing what is available first quarter into the second quarter and then finding a way to exploit it.
Well, I've been telling you that all goddamn year. I've been telling you the most important hire after Mike Vrabel was Josh McDaniels.
Yeah.
Because he was going to be the guy that was going to, unlock Drake Maye. And it seems like, every report that I get in regards to Drake Maye is he is a kid who cares. He's a kid who loves ball. So maybe he's Tom Brady 2.0. Maybe he isn't. But from the standpoint of caring, showing up, knowing what to do, taking coaching, understanding what the coaches are trying to do. This is like one of the most important relationships that goes on in the NFL that, except for this show, about 10 weeks ago, goes unspoken about until somebody finally sees them up close and personal and decides to say, oh, Josh McDaniels is great. Yeah, of course he is. And this is why we thought they were going to be good. At least I thought that. And quite frankly, I don't think Josh McDaniels should ever go anywhere ever again, local high school, anywhere, and be a head coach. Just be the offensive coordinator, the quarterback whisperer. And, when you play a game like yesterday where maybe the statistics don't look great simply because the completion percentage is down, maybe you throw a pick here or there. The fact of the matter is they won a tough game. He threw the ball under duress, and he threw the ball accurately under duress and at big times in this game. So, hey, he's proven himself. Now, obviously, the next step is going to be doing it against really good teams when they get to the playoffs.
Boomer, I think, you got a little ahead of the question I wanted to ask you, but did this game put the Patriots on notice nationally as a legitimate Super Bowl contender?
Yeah, you know what? I think it, Jermaine, it's been trending that way like the last month. But again, you got to look at who they were beating. You got to look at their quarterback situations. It wasn't the who's who of quarterbacks. Obviously they go into Buffalo. I think that was the first time a lot of people nationally started to like, wow, this team is for real, because that's a huge win in Buffalo, especially within the division. And now you go on the road and you beat Tampa. When I look at this team and I look at their schedule and I look at who they beat over the last 6 to 7 weeks, they beat the teams they were supposed to beat. And they didn't have one lay down spot. They didn't, blow a lead somewhere along the line. They were able to come back in the fourth quarter. All the attributes that you want to see in a good team. And then when you're missing certain players, other players are now picking it up and getting an opportunity to play and make plays. Those are all great signs moving forward. Now, I will say this Thursday, it's a Jet game, and we could all laugh about the Jets. They've won 2 in a row. They really have no offense to speak of. I know they had a nice offensive game against the Bengals, but the Bengals are horrendous defensively. Yesterday's game against Cleveland is how they have to win games. They'll get some turnovers. They'll make some plays, but Dylan Gabriel, the quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, certainly isn't ready for the prime time. So Justin Fields is not a great quarterback. He's very inconsistent, but, short week. Now, all of a sudden, you got to really buckle down. This has got to be a great week of preparation, and you got to get ready to go, and you got to put your foot on the throat and don't let it up against a team that is clearly the underdog.
By the way, when talking about Browns and quarterbacks, did you just say prime time on purpose?
I did not.
Okay.
No. Okay. I mean, I don't even want to talk about a third string who's now a second string who's got more drama around him than all my children.
Okay. Time to get this week's Drake take from Boomer, which is brought to you by your New England Chevy dealers. Together, let's drive. Drake Maye sacked 4 times yesterday, better than 6 the last couple of weeks, so they cleaned that up a little bit. From your perspective, what's the number one thing that he needs to work on?
Well, you want him to get rid of the ball. I know that the high percentages usually come along with a lot of sacks. So, getting rid of the ball, you actually do help the team, and I'm sure that's something that Josh is talking to him about. But sometimes these young players, and he's still not broken from bringing the total young player that won't let the play go. Like sometimes, and we saw this over the maturation of Tom Brady for 20 years. The older he got, the smarter he got, and the more he realized, don't take a sack, don't throw an interception, and get the ball out of bounds or dirt it in the ground. So that's probably the one area where, he can really help his team. The other areas, I don't really see much. I just see a continued maturation. Everything seems to be going in a very, very positive direction. And he's definitely in the MVP discussion with Matthew Stafford at the moment. And, of course, Jonathan Taylor, the running back from Indianapolis. So all systems are go. He should have a good week this week, I would think, against the Jets. So he's definitely trending in the right direction.
Boomer, you talked about this game coming up against the Jets and where it could be one of those trap games. And the Jets, they've been scrappy and been able to win the past couple of weeks. I think the difference is that when you look at Mike Vrabel and him as the head coach, and we've seen it before. You don't see it in other teams. You see Buffalo losing to Miami. I think Vrabel makes sure that these guys don't do that. Do you get that same feeling that he has them prepared for any situation, trap games, not getting too high type deal for this football team?
Yeah, so far so good. I mean, you think about the Carolina game, you think about New Orleans and Tennessee. Those are all games, that were, I would consider what you were just talking about, Jermaine, trap games. I mean, from those of us who sit on the media side of things, we like to mention all these games and talk about different possibilities that could happen to a team. But that hasn't been the case. I mean, same thing with Cleveland. The Atlanta game was one of those games where, they had a chance to lose that game, but somehow, some way, they won the game, and that's all that really matters. And that's why I always say, even when a team doesn't play its best and they win, that's when the coach really gets a chance to exhale, and he also has a tape that he can coach off of. So I don't think there's going to be a trap game here. There's an inherent hatred for both of these teams towards each other, and I feel like it's more Patriots who hate the Jets for whatever reason. I mean, the poor little Jets, the engine that can never get anything, seemingly anything done.
Wiggy brought it up, Boomer. What's up with Buffalo?
Yeah, that's a letdown spot. That is 100% a letdown spot yesterday, and that is really, that's really on the coach, honestly. I mean, and they rely really heavily on their quarterback to make plays, and if he has an off day, which he's human, so he can have an off day, and then all of a sudden you have a guy, Devin Achane, run for as many yards as he did. That means you're basically controlling the line of scrimmage. So the Buffalo defense had a really rough day yesterday. And Josh Allen, for one of those 4 or 5 games that they're going to lose this season, was unable to camouflage it. So, they didn't have a lot of room in their salary cap to add anybody at the trade deadline, so they didn't, kind of like what the Patriots did. And the Patriots actually sent guys away and took money off of their salary cap and still winning. So Buffalo isn't the team that we thought they were about 5 or 6 weeks ago. It looks like they have a very, very short runway without question. Is
the Mac Jones experiment over?
You know what? He's been playing great, man.
Right.
I mean, I don't want to take anything away from him. I mean, the Rams are a legitimate Super Bowl contender, and he's put up amazing numbers. It's like he's gone to a real quarterback school going out there to San Francisco. Sam Darnold did that. Sam Darnold then went to the Vikings. Here's one for you guys. 2 teams that right now have quarterbacks that, and I'm not saying that they should do it now, but at the end of the year, they're going to evaluate their quarterback situation, and both of these quarterbacks could be on the move. The question is, where would they end up going? And I had a thought this morning that if I am Jacksonville and I do not make the playoffs and Trevor Lawrence is treading water, wouldn't you think that the Minnesota Vikings and Kevin O'Connell would love to get their hands on a guy like Trevor Lawrence, and could that trade happen? And then the other guy would be Kyler Murray down in Arizona. I know he's hurt. I know he's on IR right now, but I got to believe that ship has sailed as well. Anybody under 6 foot in this league, you'll have a game every now and again, but you're not going to be somebody that's going to be counted on for 17 weeks in this league. These guys are just too small, him and Bryce Young.
All right, finally, question of the week for Boomer, brought to you by McFarland Energy, the region's most dependable provider of home heating oil delivery and expert HVAC services at McFarlandEnergy.com. Rob Gronkowski announced he's going to sign a one-day contract, retire a Patriot this week. Where do you rank him all-time tight ends? And don't worry about offending Wiggy.
Yeah, I'm not going to offend you, Wiggy. You know how great he is. I know how great he is. The guy was, unlike Wiggy, who, spent a lot of time blocking and his nose in the dirt. I mean, this guy, Rob Gronkowski, was a dual-threat tight end. So there are very few guys that were able to block the way he did and then make the plays at his size down the field. I would say if I had to pick a tight end to play with, it would either be him or Tony Gonzalez. In my eyes, are two of the greatest tight ends that have ever played in this league. And I know there are a lot of great tight ends, but yeah, Gronk was one of the all-time greatest and an impossible cover and a great at the point of attack blocker. So,
well, Courtney's offended on behalf of the Kelseys, but that's fine. All right, Boomer, thank you as always.
All right, sounds good. Enjoy your Victory Monday once again. This is getting boring.